car was packed, the engine was idling, and the driveway felt shorter than it ever had before. Kaito held his last box of books, looking back at the house where every hallway held a childhood memory. His mother, Naomi, gave his shoulder a firm squeeze, her smile a mixture of pride and a quiet, hidden sadness. It was time for him to trade the familiar for the unknown. The new apartment was smaller than the photos suggested, and the silence was louder than Kaito expected. As he sat on the hardwood floor surrounded by taped-up boxes, he realized that for the first time in 18 years, no one was calling him for dinner. The air smelled of floor wax and possibility, but mostly it felt very, very empty. University was a sea of faces and towering concrete buildings. Kaito navigated the sprawling campus with a map pulled up on his phone, feeling like a tiny boat in a massive ocean. Every lecture hall felt intimidating, and every student seemed to know exactly where they were going, while he was just trying to find his way without looking lost. Adulthood, Kaito discovered, was a series of small, frustrating battles. It was realizing he had forgotten to buy dish soap, or staring at a smoking toaster because he hadn't mastered the settings yet. He stood in his cramped kitchenette, the scent of burnt bread filling the air, wondering if he was actually ready to take care of himself. A knock at the door broke Kaito's cycle of laundry-induced despair. His neighbor, Hiro, stood there holding a small, hearty succulent. Hiro had a laid-back energy that made the cramped hallway feel a little wider. "Welcome to the building," he said with a grin. "I usually kill plants, so I thought I'd give this one to someone who might actually save it." Studying alone in his apartment was too quiet, so Kaito and Hiro found a corner in a 24-hour cafe near campus. Between sips of bitter coffee and the glow of their laptops, the daunting mountain of textbooks felt a little more manageable. They didn't talk much, but the shared silence was a comfort, a sign that they were both navigating this new world together. Late at night, the city lights flickered outside Kaito's window, like a field of fallen stars. He dialed home, listening to his father's voice recount the mundane details of the week. Kaito wanted to say he missed his old bed and his mother's cooking, but instead, he talked about his classes and Hiro. He was growing up, and growth meant learning to carry the weight of being away. Midterms arrived like a storm, but for the first time, Kaito felt prepared. He had balanced his chores, his sleep, and his notes. When he saw the A at the top of his hardest exam paper, a rush of genuine confidence washed over him. He wasn't just surviving on his own. He was actually starting to thrive. Little by little, the apartment stopped feeling like a temporary shelter and started feeling like home. Hiro helped him hang a string of lights and a shelf for Kaito's growing collection of books. They laughed as they struggled with a stubborn screw, the room now filled with the sound of music and the presence of a genuine friend. Standing on his small balcony, Kaito looked out at the horizon. The fear of the unknown had been replaced by a quiet strength. He still had a lot to learn about cooking, about life, and about himself, but as the cool night air hit his face, he knew he was exactly where he was supposed to be. He wasn't just a boy leaving home anymore. He was a man building one.